Welcome back, everybody, to part two of why Dune 2021 sucks. So, here's the thing. I'm not trying to crap all over this movie. There's just a lot of things that really don't make sense, and I've had a lot of people that are defending this in comments, and I really want to address the comments. So, little things like they keep saying that the oh, I need to get close, don't I? They keep saying that little things like the tech. Let's talk about the tech. So we have somebody with a sword, and they say, "Oh, there's no projectiles." Yet later in the movie, and oh, hey, there's no such thing as lasers and stuff like that because uh, of some kind of backstory that we're never told. But wait a second, out of nowhere, to cut through um, a big stone slab, the bad guys use a big laser beam that goes quite a bit a ways inside, and the people have to dodge it. Wait a second. Why didn't we use that in the earlier in the movie when there's hordes of people, and when they go down there and have that little I'm a square of people run at each other, and that little stupid movie trope of I don't know why people have to stand together and then run at each other with a blunt object of some kind or a sword when you have beams of lasers and projectile weapons stand on a roof and shoot down at someone. It's called a strategic advantage. Why is everybody's strategies in these movies is I'm the dumbest person ever. Like nobody has any kind of strategy in these movies. Nobody has any kind of intelligence of, hey, this is how an actual army would do this. This is how you fight. But no, we're gonna do it the stupid way. So let's take this fully at face value. So you have the tech, and you have the terribleness of the tech. The tech has no improvements whatsoever. You don't have any kind of intelligent technology whatsoever. Yet look at what we have today. Now I understand you could say this is some kind of dystopian world. This is some kind of problem where, hey, they don't have amazing stuff, but they do. They do have amazing stuff. They have giant flying machines. They have giant cannons that shoot into the air and shoot out incoming people, like this, the spaceships. And yet they choose to fight with a sword. And then that would even be excusable if the fighting didn't seem like a 5-year-old choreographed these things. If these weren't like a 1990s made for TV show fight sequence like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's what all of this was. If they did actually cool fighting techniques, I mean, they've done some really interesting fighting techniques, even in like Sherlock Holmes, the ones with Robert Downey Jr. Fighting would get super boring, so they did some really cool, interesting things to try to juice it up, to make it more interesting. Here, the interesting factor was dialed down to a 0. Actually, we went kind of to a -3. But that being said, we're going back to the technology because you want to talk about the technology. So the technology, let's talk about this. You have something that you can just for there's much technology I could talk about, but let's go step by step. I was going to jump way ahead. So you have flying vehicles. You mass produce those. Okay? Mass produced. What is your defense? Okay, you have a giant defensive barrier that protects your entire outpost. But you don't have anything that reads the life force of people? None of that's explained. Why? Why don't you have anything where people check in on each other? If you know that there's bad people out there. In fact, someone tried to attack your son. So, someone just tried to kill your son with a little thing that went through and tried to poison him. Why on earth would you not have some kind of protection in place other than just people standing guard? This is like a Monty Python skit kind of stupidity. Okay? Instantly, right off the top of your head, you say, okay, well, if you didn't have the communication thing, which they do, right here in the back of their head, they're like, hey, John, no, you're not there? Okay. It's not like they could call, and they couldn't even call anybody else. It was like, guard, are you there, guard? Guard? Okay, we can't reach them. I'm gonna have to walk over there. You can't just dial somebody else. Hey, John, you have to be doing. Hey, John, could you wake up and go check this guy? Hey, can somebody else do this? Hey, no, it's just one way, huh? So that's pretty stupid. And then you have, let's see, let's get more into this. Let's say they didn't have that ability. Okay, so they don't have that ability. So what do? Well, you know how in movies they have where they go, hey, I'm going to take first watch, you take next. Well, here's what you do. If you're someone who really thinks that somebody's out there trying to kill my son, like let's say I'm the commander, somebody's going to kill my son. I'm having periodic, like 10-minute things, walking around, guarding everything, switching out people, really making sure that everybody's patrolling everything. And if we don't have any technology whatsoever, we have to look at everything. We have to make sure all eyes are all around everywhere. We have enough people. We have enough personnel. Let's do it. Micro sleeps. Somebody just the other day tried to kill my son. So we're going to do this. But no, this was so relaxed, so lax, that it was like to the point of absurdity. Okay? Now, we will go into why don't they have certain technologies if they have other technologies? If you have a technology like a shield, okay, you have a technology that can protect yourself, but you don't have a technology that can maybe hurt somebody from afar, that doesn't make any sense. But you do, because that was shown later that that does exist. So why would you equip all of your personnel to use something that gets them physically up close and personal with somebody else when you could have a distance and shoot at them, and that person is trying to walk up to you? Safety in distance. It just seems a little bit intelligent. And that's the thing about this movie. Anything that would be an intelligent thing to do isn't happening. Let's see. One of the characters sacrifices himself for the other people. Unneeded. He did not need to sacrifice himself. Why? Well, first of all, we were told that nothing was happening bad over behind this door, and then because you see the bad guys actually get their butts handed to them by the people spring out of the ground and start attacking them, and we think they're winning. And then the other guy's like, oh, we must not be winning, in his mind. So he's getting ready. He's like, shuts the door behind him. First of all, how did you know that, like, you could have literally just shut the door, and then left? Because the lady was, it's not like you were trapped. The lady was like, oh, I have a way out over here. Why didn't you just go with them? Why did you have to go kill these people? It's not like there was a dire need to sacrifice yourself in any means. It's stupid. The motivation was dumb. Completely dumb. Look into the motivations of this movie. You are stupid if you really don't see that the motivations are completely mundane and dumb. They are somebody trying to say, hey, I just want this to happen. This is how I'm going to get that to happen. There is no point to people's motivations in a lot of this movie. And the stupidest things that they do, the motivation is like a really terrible teenage horror movie. Don't run up the stairs and let's go hide behind the chainsaws. That's what happens in this movie. That's the type of intelligence that happens. If you know that you're in charge, if you're the king, I'm the king. The king has people that literally goes, "Don't talk to the king like that." Oh, don't you spit on the thing. I'm just saying in general the king and stuff like that. Don't try to oust me on the comments. Be like, "Hey, he was not a king. He was a this. I don't care. I'm trying to make it generalized for people to understand. But if you say, "Hey, you spit in front of the king. Oh, I'm going to kill you." Wait a second. That means people are like right there protecting you constantly. So why would you ever have the notion that you're going to put yourself in harm's way? Why would you go, "Wait a second. I heard a noise. Bleep. Hey, blah blah blah. Oh wait, I can't reach anybody. I'm gonna go check it out." No, you tell somebody else, "Hey, go check it out." You know why? Because you're the leader of the entire place. You can't sacrifice yourself. If something's going on, you can't sacrifice yourself. You have to appoint somebody else. That is being a king or leader 101. You have somebody else do it so you can fix whatever is going to happen. Your intelligence is what's important. You're alive. You being alive is more important than any of the other people at this moment. So you tell other people to go do this. That is a general thing. That is the only thing that you do. You learn that. Okay? This is not this equivalent of like a king riding out and negotiating, trying to save his people. No, this was, "Hey, there's a noise right over here. Let me go investigate it." But wait a second, you just know that just yesterday somebody tried to kill your son. So why would you go investigate something that potentially could get you killed? Because the movie is dumb. Intelligence goes out the window with this movie. Now, I'm sure there's many people that want to talk about the lore and talk about how great it is to have lore and have this cool little story stuff behind this movie. But that's just it. I'm insulting the movie. This movie does not know what it wants to be. This movie is not a 10 out of 10. This movie is at most a forgettable movie. The action is abysmal. The storyline is equally just as dumb because motivations don't make sense. The villains don't really make all that much sense. So why would two civilizations conspire against one to wipe them out completely? Now, we're seeing it from their point of view, the one that's going to be wiped out completely kind of a thing. But if you were going to just wipe them out, why would you give them in charge of Dune, the planet? Why would you give them that, appoint them there? Because that's not just making them vulnerable. What you would do is if you're trying to do something with that, not just wipe them out, but if you're trying to do something specific, you would have taken their home planet and ransomed it and it made them work for you or doing this. There's no clear definition of why any of this is happening. Because we know that the Emperor gave them this place to fail. So if we know that, we know that they've conspired against him. They are in cahoots to with the other people who are coming to kill them. So why now? Why on Dune? And why at all? Like, these people just do not seem like they are highly capable of doing anything. They don't have the technology. They are easily defeated in battle. There's nothing here that says, oh well, we needed to have a strategic plan to do this, to screw them over, to kill them, because they are so material. Their their military is strong. Their technology is strong. They actually had a little thing where they said that they are very advanced. Really, your attack was not an advanced attack against anything. It was just a bombardment when somebody was asleep. That's not at all an intelligent move. I mean, I've watched plenty of true stories about amazing, amazing military actions that have happened in real life. This isn't up there with even a mild, smart skirmish. This is down there with one of the dumbest tactical strategies ever. Hey, let's just attack them and then run in there and hit them with swords when we could have just kept dropping bombs on them. Oh, hey, Bill, we have a bomb shortage. We have a bomb shortage? No way. Why didn't we, if we knew we were going to do this, why didn't we order like 9 million bombs? Oh, yeah, we lost the paperwork. Oh, okay. So how long have we planned this? About 30 years. What? Like, if you're planning this, now they didn't say a duration because they don't actually go into the villain's ideas at all. They don't go into the lore of, or the politics of any of this whatsoever. They don't go into why one civilization or two civilizations are trying to wipe out an entire civilization. Like, what's the purpose of this? It's complete decimation. They want to destroy them completely. Why? This is stupid. It is. This movie is for the people who just want a popcorn flick, but then it doesn't even popcorn flick. A popcorn flick is something that you can get behind and go, whoa, oh my God, did you see that? Oh, wow, that was emotionally gripping. That really, those explosions. I mean, you look at a Michael Bay movie, okay? A Transformers movie was better than this. Transformers. In Transformers, you'll have somebody going, whoa, did you see that action scene? That was insane. The movie was crap, but that was an insane action scene. There's no action scenes. Did you see that guy over there who did this with the sword? Amazing. What about that guy over there who did this with the sword? Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Even, have you ever seen an Owen Bach movie? Those are just general fighting movies, but they do it in a way that's so entertaining and so awesome. Did you see the original Ip Man? There's many hand-to-hand fight sequences, but each one is absolutely unique. Here, it's rinse and repeat boredom. At the end, the little skirmish fight scene where he's one-on-one. Instant boredom. Did you ever see the Mission Impossible bathroom sequence? That was amazing. That little fight sequence, that's how you make a fight sequence. That's how you make something. You have to have the other guy on top. You have to have a struggle. You have to feel for the character. You don't ever feel for a character in any of these fight sequences. They are piss poor at best. I've never seen a movie that is treasured so much, yet is so abysmally dumb and bad. This was like an amateur director directed an action movie. I like the world building. If there was world building, there was what attempted to be world building. Attempted. But then you need to establish three worlds, not just Dune, not just the people that we follow in the very beginning, not just the Emperor's people, not just the. You have to establish all these things. You have to establish a political story as well. I've never read the book. I'm not going to read the book. If the people say that this is close to the book adaptation, I will never read it then. If this is close to the book's adaptation, then I think it's going to be a horrible, horrible read. Why? Because of just the general fact that this movie has a dumb plot. It's really dumb. You can have a generic plot. You can have where things aren't complete. Uh, just you can have things where it's not completely upended and be like, oh, you didn't expect that. Oh, you didn't expect that. You can have movies that are kind of generic and you've seen it before, but at the same time, then you need to wow us on something else. We need to be enthralled. Look at the movie Endgame. Endgame was kind of boring. Now, you did set up this whole thing in Avengers Infinity War where you have this really good villain, you have this really good stuff, and then, boom, it's all over. Oh, we lost. Then Endgame, like, oh, wow, what do you do? It's very kind of dreary and drab and just slowly progressing, and you just feel lost. But then, hey, we get a character that says, hey, I can fix it all. I have an idea. So you follow that, and you're like, okay, there's hope. So you actually have this building up to something. Now, it kind of goes a little off the rails, but the greatest moment is when you have the fight sequence between Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America and Thanos. You have all of them getting beaten terribly. You have boom, boom, and then you only have one left. Uh, even Captain America, everybody's beaten up terribly. Then you have Captain America, boom, he throws that hammer. Now he's worthy. He throws that hammer, and he's going to take that chance. You have this epic setup that is drawing you in, and you're like, oh, when he picks up that hammer, when he throws that hammer, and you're like, oh, holy crap, no way. Now Captain America actually can stand a chance, but it makes the hairs on your neck stand up like, oh, it gives you a rise. You have an emotional connection. I don't care if you didn't care about the character at all. You have an emotional rise. But this movie, you have no emotional connection. You have no emotional rise whatsoever in the slightest. Why did I use Endgame? Why did I use that? Well, because I'm speaking to young people here. So I can't use movies like Saving Private Ryan. I can't use movies that are absolutely amazing. I'm going to use movies that are just, hey, here's something you've probably seen in your lifetime. But that's the thing. You don't have any of this. How can you rate this movie a 10 out of 10 when there's nothing to connect to? And that's not me just nitpicking the story and the technology or anything like that. I'm nitpicking just the general gist of storytelling. Storytelling, you want to be involved with the characters. You want to be emotionally invested. Name one character you're emotionally invested in. You don't care. People die and you're like, oh, okay. You don't actually care. People say, oh, Jason Momoa, when he sacrificed himself, we don't care because we're told earlier on that he was going to die. We saw his death. We don't care because his death was actually preventable. He didn't have to go do that. So, why did he do that? Why do we care? We don't. Anybody who has an emotional connection with that and cares, it's just because Hans Zimmer is an amazing composer and he put some music there that people were like, "Wow, did you hear that music? Wow." That's it. And you could tell me, "Hey, you don't know what you're talking about. I've seen this movie twice." How about you? I've seen it twice. It's worse the second viewing. It really is, and I think it's just going to keep going downhill. It's worse the second viewing. So, you can agree with me or disagree with me, but no matter what you say, you're just making the movie worse because you're pointing out that the movie is absolutely worse than what I've already said. The movie keeps getting worse every time you guys comment. So, continue to comment, please.